Welcome back to the vlog. I am so happy that you are here. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Veronica Burton and I am a 24-year-old living in the Atlanta area. And today's vlog is to give you a glimpse into my job, what I do, how I got here, and my intention with this is to provide some clarity to my subscribers that have a bunch of questions that they are either in the same industry and they just want to learn more about my experience, or they just want to get to know me a little bit more. So I find it so interesting how we spend 40 plus hours a week at work, and sometimes you never get a glimpse into a person's work self, because that's a really real thing. Me at work is different than me at home. While I still have some of the same qualities, I'm in work mode, and I just wanted to give you a glimpse into what that was like. I also want this video to hopefully reach someone that is either looking to transition into this industry, that is interviewing for this role, or someone that is looking to just enhance how they perform in this role. I really just want to provide value to y'all. I hope that you take something out of this video, and if you have any questions at all, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm going to pop my handle up here, and then you are also welcome to just leave a comment below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Feel free to subscribe if you like lifestyle content. I post a lot of daily routines, days in my life. I also do content like this where it's a little bit more informative and a sit down. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I want to start integrating them a little bit more into the channel. But feel free to check out my channel as well if you are interested in learning a little bit more about what I create on YouTube. I currently am an account manager at a digital advertising agency. How I got there: I graduated from FSU. I was a marketing major, as many people are when they're confused as to what they want to do, or they have a very strong intention to go into marketing and they know it. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I graduated college with 2 unpaid internships where basically the only thing I really learned was how to show up on time, and even then I was a couple minutes late. They really didn't provide much value other than they look good on a resume, and sometimes that is just the reality of your internship. And if this is you, that is okay. Moving into post-grad life, I graduated in 2018 and I went to Nashville because I wanted to live in a big city, and I knew literally no one. I had 2 random roommates and they actually became my best friends, and I worked at a PR agency. I was an intern there. And from there, I transitioned to a digital advertising agency before moving to Atlanta. And when I moved to Atlanta after that role, I worked in-house at a brewery, and I was their marketing manager and taproom and events manager. That was really interesting because it was my first job looking from the inside out and not the outside in. I was in the house and I was not in the agency life. So I saw how chaotic it can be in-house, and that was very eye-opening, especially with a small company and seeing how people truly wear so many different hats. I knew that it was a little bit too chaotic for me though, and I liked a little bit more structure. So from there, I went back into PR at an agency, a small agency in Atlanta, for about 1.5 years. And then I knew in my heart PR was just not for me. And I transitioned into a company that I have been wanting to work for forever. The conversation was going for a little over 2 years before I went to work for them, and I knew that this transition was going to be a very long-term fit for me. So I was one of those people early in my career that job hop. I was not at a place for 2 months and then left, but I sat there for a while and I learned as much as I could, and when a better opportunity presented itself, I transitioned, and I regret absolutely nothing. So in my current role, I am at a very digital forward advertising agency. We do not do traditional media, we do all digital. We are in all kinds of spaces. My role mainly focuses with companies that are in the B2B SaaS, so that's software as a service space, and I actually love it. When I started my career, I thought I was going to be in hospitality marketing. And it's just so funny how far from the truth that is for me now, and how grateful I am to have had an open mind and land myself in the role I'm at now. So right now I'm an account manager. I am like the center of all these different departments. So I'm basically the filter in between everything that's going on and all the commotion and deliverables, and that is my strong suit. I really love communicating, and I can communicate with a variety of different personality types, and that is key for somebody that's in this role. If you're looking to be an account manager, account executive, assistant account executive, if that is something that you are looking into post-grad, you really need to be flexible. You need to know how to communicate across personality types and be able to communicate the right information at the right time to the right person and not TMI it. So I'll dive into that in a little bit, but that's just some quick things that I have learned in this role that I wanted to share. All right, so now after giving you a little bit of a glimpse into what my role is and who I work for and what industry I focus in, I'm gonna dive into my day-to-day. So typically what happens, and every day can be different, but I get into work and we go into the office. We have a hybrid approach, which is awesome because I am a very in-person kind of gal, and some people are all digital, and that is really hard, but some people, that is what you love. So kudos to you. I commute about 35 minutes to work, and when I get to work, I get in, I check my email, and if there's anything urgent, I respond back to it. That is key. That is huge for me to get a weight off my shoulders if I see something that needs to be addressed. Like a client needs information immediately, I'll respond back to it. If it's not extremely urgent, I write it on my to-do list. So after I check my email, I take a step back. And this is something that I learned in my career that is absolutely vital. You need to do this. You need to take a step back and retract and understand what is going on and not be in the thick of it, because it gets really overwhelming. And if you're watching this video, you probably have felt this way before, and this translates across different job titles and industries. The feeling of being scattered and not knowing what to do first, what to do next, or what your priorities are, and just trying to scrap at it and cross things off your list, when in reality, you need to take a step back and look at what your priority items are. This has been huge in my role, especially as an account manager in a digital agency. You need to know what you need to prioritize because your to-do list will be never ending, and that is okay. I tier my priorities if I have time. So I'll do tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And I organize them by clients, and then I start working on them. If I am short on time, I have a lot of meetings I need to get to quick, I will put tier 1 priorities to the side, I'll work on them, cross that list off, and then I'll move into my large list to pull another set of priorities that I need to work on. So this has been huge for me. I take about 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes even 30 if I'm looking through emails and trying to gather more context for the task, to put my to-do list together. So email and to-do list. For the to-do list, I use Trello. So Trello is huge for me. It's a free tool. So I organize myself by different clients and do right now and priorities for today. And then I also have a done pile. So when it's done, it's really satisfying to drag and drop those cards right into the done. What my job consists of is a lot of movement. Movement is the word that I would use to describe the account management role at a digital agency, at least from my experience. There are so many different departments that rely on you to communicate what the client needs, what the client wants, what the goals are, what the objectives are, and the overall premise of what you're trying to achieve. So digital campaigns take a lot of work. It is not just some foo-foo thing that you see on an Instagram ad and you're like, this is so much fun, I want to do this. There's a lot of thought that goes into that, and it's not to be taken lightly. I communicate across many different departments. So let's say we are starting a content strategy for blogs, for SEO, for any kind of content that's being created. I have to communicate across the web development team, the copy team, the SEO team, sometimes even the design team, and some other team members as well, but those are my core departments that I work with a lot. And I ensure that I speak to the right people on the right team at the right time. And what I mean by that is there are layers to an approach to a strategy when it comes to digital advertising. And typically you need some initial information to be able to communicate effectively across teams. I'm responsible for getting exactly what every team member needs at the right time and communicating it in a way that makes sense for them to be able to do their job correctly. This is no small task because what you understand as correct may not always be what someone else understands as correct. And a lot of times things get lost in translation if your communication is not effective. The best thing that I have learned is to sit down with someone and fully brief them and get everyone in a room. And when you get everyone in a room, do not just sit there and say, okay, so we want to do this. What do you guys think? You want to have clear objectives for what the meeting is for. You want to allow people to prepare for that meeting, and you want to get out of that meeting having next steps. The second aspect of my job is client relationships and building that rapport with the client. This is so important, and it's often kind of neglected in the agency space because you want to know your client at a personal level. And I don't mean pick and pry. You want to get to know them as a person. You want to know what makes them tick. You want to know how they like to communicate. You essentially are trying to become an expert in people. And when you do that, you're able to serve them really effectively because in an agency position, you are serving your client. And that is key to client retention, to overall satisfaction, to how you can communicate to the client and then to your internal teams. And ensuring that you guys have a strong relationship up front is huge. So this involves weekly meetings, and a lot of my week involves prep for those meetings and ensuring that we have all deliverables, reporting, all to-dos that need to be done by the client, what we need to do ahead of the meeting, all of that needs to be done and checked in on. When you communicate to a client in the account management role, there are some times when it varies client to client depending on their depth of understanding of marketing. So if they do not know the depths of SEO, which is search engine optimization, you're not going to sit there and lecture them for 30 minutes on terms that they may not understand or even know. Basically, when it comes to client communication, there are a few things that I find really important, and I'm going to list them out real quick. These are not the only things that are important, but they are my tried and true few things that I try to instill in every piece of communication that I hand over to client. You want to quickly identify the why. Why are you sending them an email? Why are you sending them Slack? Why is it important and why is it vital to the overall success of your marketing goals? 2, how. You don't just want to say why, you're going to say how you want to do that and what the objectives are to get this done. And 3, how does this fit into the big picture? And how does this relate to how they can succeed in their job? A huge part as an agency partner is being able to set your client contacts up for success when they communicate to their C-suite, when they communicate to the people that are above them that are essentially paying the bill for having you guys on board. And the way that they communicate is different than a marketer communicates, and you just have to understand how to translate that message across different departments within their company. That's something that I found really important is if the client knows why, if they know how, and they know why it's important to them and how it will help move the needle for their company. I mean, I've seen so much success come out of that, and I just encourage you to think about your communication with your client that way. And then another way that client communication and relationship building is huge is sometimes I get to know my clients so well that I do things for them that they didn't even know that they wanted to be done. So for example, I have a client that has a lot of different content pieces moving and grooving, and it's very confusing to see it in a list format. Me and my associate put it all into an Excel sheet and put the statuses and color coded it and made it really unique to the client because we know the kind of person they are. And they absolutely loved it. And they told us when we delivered it, oh wow, actually I was thinking about this earlier this week that I want to do this. And we knew them so well that we just did it for them. So that kind of relationship where you can think a few steps ahead without putting in a ton of effort just because of how well you know the client honestly makes a world of a difference with how you are able to serve them. And then finally, I'm going to wrap this video up with the main pieces of advice that I have for anyone that is considering this role, transitioning to this industry, or just wants to know more about what I do and how it relates to my professional career. First piece of advice is, while you want to strive for perfection, be realistic in how much time you have and how it relates to being able to deliver on time. Deadlines are huge. Time is the most valuable aspect in our lives, whether it relates to our professional lives or our personal life. Time is something that you just cannot buy, and delivering quality work on time or even ahead of time really makes you stand out as an individual and also as an agency as a whole. So what I mean by this is you don't want to abandon quality just because you want to deliver on time. Quality is important, but you want to understand and learn how you can deliver quality work within a constrained time frame. So for this, it's going to be a lot of challenges of meeting deadlines as an account manager, driving your teams to meet deadlines, and be able to work and function within some time constraints. And also, when deadlines are missed, be able to communicate it in a way that satisfies the client and reassures them that the quality of work being delivered is going to be worth it. Number 2, communicate. Please communicate. I have seen all too often teams break apart when the communication just isn't there, and it could have all been solved with a 15-minute conversation. Communication is huge, and it's really, really big for an account manager or account executive because you are communicating across teams, which means you're communicating across different personality types. And this has been one of the biggest challenges for me personally, is understanding that it is a-okay for people to have different personality types and different ways of understanding things. And it is my job to be able to translate what I need done to the way that they understand it and can do their job the best way possible. Alluding to what I talked about earlier, if you call a meeting with a group of people, you don't want to just call a meeting and put it all on them. You want to have an objective clearly identified. You want to have a goal for why that meeting has been called. And then you also, even though you may not be the problem solver because you're not the expert, but you're calling the experts in the room, you want to have done some of your homework and put together some potential solutions or thought starters as to what solutions could be. That way the experts are fully briefed, they have context, and they have some sort of a foothold up on how they can begin helping you to solve this problem. This elicits a really smooth communication style, and it allows you to have a more fruitful conversation in a shorter amount of time. And the reason behind that is people just want to know. They want to be in the know, and they want to be treated like another human being who's working alongside you, and you guys are all on the same team. You never want to treat people on your team like they are against you. You're working towards the same goal, and sometimes you need to take a step back and reevaluate how you could be doing it better and communicating better to allow them to do a better job. My third out of the 4 is care. Remind yourself that your coworkers are human beings. They are other people who have lives, who have worries, who have troubles, and they also are just there to do a job just like you are. So treat them as such, treat them with respect, and you also just want to get to know them personally and make sure that you can best serve them, because in turn they will best serve you. That is something that I found so true, is that when I sit down with a team member that is a part of a different department and we debrief on a campaign, and I ask them, what could I have done better? Like, what did you not like about the way I communicated? Is there something that I could have provided you to make your job easier? And be sincere when you ask this. You don't want to ask this with ulterior motives to maybe come at them or get upset. Like, you truly just want to grow as a professional and make sure that they understand that when you're asking that question. You want to instill a sense of trust and safety so they can open their heart to you and tell you how you could do your job better, because there is always room for opportunity. And then finally, work-life balance, people. This is key, and this is something that I have learned a lot in the past year, but being able to replenish yourself on your off hours really helps you do the best work possible on your on hours. So you can almost allude this to fueling up your car. If you don't take time to put gas in your car when you're on the interstate and you need to be going 75, you're gonna be going a flat 0 when you sputter out on the side of the road. The same kind of thing applies when you are at work and you feel like you have nothing left to give because you've given it all, even on your after hours from your 5 to 9. You really want to be able to go home, read a book, have dinner with your family, and take a second to relax and not worry about your email or what's going on at work, or if other people are delivering things after hours. It doesn't mean that you have to be, because if you let yourself get so drained and worried and anxious, it will affect your quality of work and your quality of life. This kind of transition into thinking of a more work-life balance approach and truly inhabiting it is unique to everyone. For me, it was communicating to my direct report, hey, at 5 p.m., I'm out of here. And sometimes I stay later, like 6:30, but I never push it too much because my goal is to go home and have dinner with my husband and watch a TV show or read some of my book. I also need time to do some of my own hobbies, like go play tennis or do a YouTube video and edit, and be able to do that in a relaxed state of mind and not anxious that I'm missing something at work. So everyone on my team knows I get my job done. I love what I do, but I need time to allow myself to lean in and love it. And if you don't give yourself that time, it will be a very broken process of trying to pick up the pieces of your personal life while also trying to deliver quality work at in your professional life. And this is different across agencies, but for my agency, this is something that I was really dead set on finding in my next position. So when I was interviewing for this current position that I'm in, this was a huge aspect that I really honed in on, because my previous role did not have a lot of work-life balance, and leadership, other team members, and just the agency's core values really reflected that they want you to have work-life balance. And I searched for that and I found it. If you are looking for a different role, or to go to a different agency, or to go from in-house to agency, whatever kind of role you're looking to move into or grow within your current company, you want to define your core values. Like, what do you absolutely need in a job, in a company, that will let you be the best version of yourself? And for me, one of my main ones was I need work-life balance. I need to be able to go on vacation and not look at my phone or my email. I need to be able to log off and truly log off after hours and not worry about it. And I found it, and it's out there. Companies are out there. This is your message. Like, yay! They exist. And it's up to you to be able to fully vet the companies you work for, because as you grow in your career, you become an asset. And looking at yourself as an asset is key to finding a job that truly values you. Anyway, y'all, that was my spiel of what my role is, how I got to my role, some advice I have, and I hope that this was valuable to you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Again, everybody's job is very unique to them, and this is very unique to me and my clients and my agency that I work for. But at the same time, I hope that you were able to pull something out of this that can benefit you. Again, if you're interested in this kind of content, any kind of lifestyle content like routines, days with me, videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you are also welcome to follow me on Instagram. I will pop my handle up here, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.